all of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
But when you really, like, once I got really invested in music, you know, that's initially all I wanted to work, Steve. And then the film and television stuff, I started to look closer at it, and it was exciting. It's a challenge for me to be a part of those projects because the process is a little different. Like, instinctively, when I'm writing music, it's right the first time.
Baby oil is, it just go with everything. You can get baby oil on pizza. I done got it on pizza before. You taste it, you can't even hardly taste it. I done had baby oil all around my mouth before. I don't even know what's on there. It's just a baby oil type night. It's just baby oil. All right. Praise the Lord, baby oil.
50 Cent has been working on this documentary for almost 2 years. The footage he has is insane. The people he got speaking about Diddy is...
When 50 Cent drops a cryptic message, the industry doesn't shrug it off anymore. History has taught people that his warnings tend to arrive before disruption, not after. This time, the message was blunt and chilling. Your time is running out. No documents. No reports. No names. Yet almost instantly, one name began circulating online. Steve Harvey. That reaction alone raised eyebrows. Harvey represents stability in entertainment, faith-centered, family-oriented, measured, and publicly positioned as a guide to success rather than a magnet for controversy. He's built a brand around wisdom, discipline, and moral authority. So why would someone like 50 Cent, fresh off a documentary that rattled Hollywood, allow speculation to drift in his direction at all? The answer isn't accusation. It's pattern recognition. The documentary wasn't about proving guilt. It was about silence, influence, and selective truth. And in moments like these, the quiet figures often draw more attention than the loud ones. Steve Harvey has remained completely silent. And that silence has become the story's pressure point.
Around the time of his arrest, thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be exonerated later, so I'm going to film all this, and then I can use it in my big comeback later when I'm not in jail. Didn't work out the way he thought, and it turns out he went to jail for a few years. All right, he didn't get the full amount, but he still got a few years. And 50 Cent somehow managed to pay for the footage off of the videographer. Probably Diddy's worst nightmare, this. It's got to be up there. Now, we're going to get into what's in the actual documentary, and hell.
For years, 50 Cent has shaped his image not as a moral judge, but as a survivor, someone who understands how the entertainment world really operates behind the curtain. He doesn't claim righteousness, he claims experience. That's why his warnings carry more weight now than they did years ago, when Sean Combs' The Reckoning premiered on Netflix in December 2025. It didn't just generate headlines. It confirmed a long-held suspicion that the issue extended far beyond one individual. The film painted a picture of a system built on protection, silence, and longevity. With Combs now facing confirmed federal consequences and ongoing legal proceedings, that chapter appears closed. What unsettled viewers most, however, was the realization that the documentary only scratched the surface, suggesting that the full story may still be waiting in the shadows. The answer isn't accusation. It's pattern recognition. The documentary wasn't about proving guilt, it was about silence, influence, and selective truth. And in moments like these, the quiet figures often draw more attention than the loud ones. Steve Harvey has remained completely silent. And that silence has become the story's pressure point.
The core theme to be, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong on any front.
By the way, these conversations, the lawyer had no idea he was recording them. So when the lawyer's like, yeah, we need everyone to believe you did nothing wrong, it kind of takes away from when the lawyer is out in public saying, yeah, my client is completely innocent. And now he showed the behind the scenes where he clearly didn't think he was very innocent. So not Diddy's smartest move. However, throughout this journey, you'll see he makes a lot of crazy decisions.
I don't think it's working. I've listened. I've been a superb client, as you said. I jumped on the plane. I'm coming to New York, but I'm just running around waiting for a shoe to drop.
He's himself right now, in case you can't tell, and he really doesn't look good.
It's the middle of September, and there's still no indictment.
Bro, then you have to have a spokesman. You have to have some sort of comms to constantly be pushing that, Mark. Because you may just be a person that you just may watch CNN. You know what I'm saying? And there's 9 billion people in the world, and 7 billion of them is on Instagram and TikTok.
He's basically trying to get control of the narrative. That's what he's really worried about. He wants public perception to be, this was all bullshit. Unfortunately for him, we'd all seen the CCTV of him beating the shit out of Cassie, so we know you're not a good guy, man. That's out there. A statement from your solicitor is really not going to change that.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us, whether they from this country or from another country. It could be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business of media and propaganda.
We need to brainwash some motherfuckers right now, and we need people who are used to working with the dirtiest of dirty, because that's what he is, and he's admitting it. How could you let this footage fall into the hands of 50 Cent, my guy? And honestly, it always comes down to money with Diddy, because Diddy didn't get rich just because he was, clever in music. Diddy got rich because he robbed people all the time, and him not taking care of the people around him, it just comes back to bite him a million times over.
It's like we have a movie, you're speaking this language, and you know what I'm saying, we need subtitles, and we're not providing the audience with subtitles. And I invited you to this movie, and you in this thing, you don't know what's going on. You just see you just see the images, quickly. Now it has a whole life of its own.
I gotta say, this whole doc was edited well. When you just see the pictures and they cut to the CCTV. Well done, 50. You nailed that, son. If you're going to take him down in style. So you get a clear window from the jump here into Diddy's psyche. He doesn't give a about Cassie or any of these girls. He doesn't give a about anyone. It's save yourself mentality, and it's crisis mode. And you can see on his face, we know he's got a drug problem. This is at an all-time high of his drug taking, surely.
As scrutiny increased, other high-profile figures moved quietly, deleting old posts, distancing themselves, and behaving as though certain connections never existed. The real question circulating isn't whether Steve Harvey committed a crime. There is no proof of that. The question is whether he knew more than he ever chose to say. In Hollywood, awareness and action are judged very differently in court. But in the court of public opinion, those lines blur quickly. That gray space is where speculation thrives. The conversation sharpened further when attention returned to Diddy's brief relationship with Lori Harvey in 2019, an episode that suddenly felt less random and more relevant within a broader pattern people were beginning to re-examine.
Bill on P. Diddy, and this one ain't pretty, because it involves one of your most favorite television talk show hosts, Steve Harvey. Yes, apparently, there's a little birdie going around Hollywood saying that in the late 90s, Diddy, which I know about this because I had a friend who worked detail on the party, invited Steve Harvey to one of his famous freak-offs and then recorded Steve Harvey in a very compromising position with somebody else, if you know what I mean. Which doesn't bode too well for Mr. Family Man, you know what I mean? So the freak-off situation got pretty crazy. There was a tape circulating. I have seen the tape. But the problem here is Diddy has been blackmailing Steve Harvey for the last 25 years, including, and this is also some reports that I've been able to verify, Diddy was dating his daughter, as well as Diddy's son was dating his daughter, and people said reports that Diddy was using her as an ATM machine. This is disgusting to my core to hear accusations like this and to have to confess this to you people, but the truth must come to light. And all these disgusting stories will.
At the time, commentators brushed it off as overanalysis. Headlines framed the relationship as unexpected but harmless, focusing on photos from overseas trips and public smiles. Many argued that everyone involved appeared relaxed and happy. What drew renewed attention, however, wasn't the romance itself, it was proximity. Steve Harvey's presence. The overlapping family connections. The timelines. Observers debated boundaries while others defended personal choice and consent. The public response wrapped it all in celebration and congratulations. Yet beneath that glossy surface, unease lingered unspoken, but not forgotten.
Diddy's son date her?
Yes, that cannot be true.
Sounds like someone's got Diddy issues. And by someone, we mean him. Because they actually look pretty happy.
Diddy and Harvey, they're heating things up in Italy.
Notice her arm is on the back of his chair.
Shocking! For some reason. But yes, Diddy's now getting super cozy with Steve Harvey's daughter, who Diddy's son, Justin Combs, used to hang out with.
I don't think that her and Justin were even that serious. They were just out in the club a couple times.
I think it's more interesting that Steve Harvey's there.
Survey says the number one most interesting thing about this photo is
Diddy and his son are Eskimo brothers.
And to make it more interesting,
So his son on this trip?
They were there. They're not in these pictures, but I think they left.
He is dating his son's ex-girlfriend when his son was there as well.
But if his son's moved on, why not? Puff has an unbelievably close relationship with all of his sons. I don't think it's something that he would do if it was a big, huge deal.
You like who you like. The exception to I like who I like is accept my son's exes.
so congrats, you two.
At the time, commentators brushed it off as overanalysis. Headlines framed the relationship as unexpected but harmless, focusing on photos from overseas trips and public smiles. Many argued that everyone involved appeared relaxed and happy. What once lived as celebrity gossip gradually took on heavier weight. Online commentators began reframing the relationship as strategic rather than personal, with some suggesting it reinforced industry alliances. Others went further, floating claims of hidden arrangements, none supported by documents, witnesses, or confirmation from anyone involved. These narratives exist entirely in the rumor space. But speculation spreads fastest when it aligns with beliefs people already hold. For decades, whispers about the darker reputation of Diddy's gatherings circulated long before any documentary renewed focus. Against that backdrop, audiences began asking harder questions, especially as Steve Harvey never publicly addressed the rumors in any direction. In the modern attention economy, silence doesn't stall a narrative, it accelerates it. Extreme online theories even dragged his name into unverified claims involving recordings and coercion, despite no credible source supporting them and many being flagged as misinformation. Still, the stories persist largely because recent revelations confirmed that extensive private recordings existed in that wider world, keeping suspicion alive even where proof does not.
Holmes got to be the dumbest motherfucker walking the planet, though. Why would he be recording all of that shit?
How did 50 get that footage?
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
I heard
so like the first 10 minutes, and it's like footage from Diddy right before he got arrested.
They said because Diddy was either shooting a documentary or had somebody filming everything.
Yeah.
So he bought the footage from that company?
That would be my guess.
That's hilarious.
That's what I heard. I heard something like that. I don't know. But why would you be recording that if you did it?
I think he thought he was going to get off. Beat it, and then he would have a document of him overcoming the situation.
But showing what?
I mean, it's nothing like particularly inflammatory. It's just him going around the city and talking to his attorneys and trying to figure it out. But it's juxtaposed against, they have a lot of incredible archival footage. Like, they really spent a lot of money. And when you look at it, you're like, God, like, Diddy really has been in the press for 35, 40,
basically his whole life.
And they go way, way back. Like, I
heard they go back to the basketball game.
Before that, I mean, there's pictures of him in Mount Vernon. There's like a 5-year-old kid, childhood friends. Like, it's very thorough. I mean, the one criticism I've read, and I don't know how fair it is it doesn't delve into the victim stories as much as it could, but I'm only 2 episodes in, and there is one woman in, I think, episode 1, and it's like a very emotional scene where she recounts some of the stuff that happened to her. Like, I think it's well done so far.
Wow. I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I just, for me, it's just like, I don't know why you would be recording that, because from the clips that I saw, it just seems like the highest level of arrogance, and it seems like he's just trying to manipulate his way out of the situation.
He talks about that on the tape.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Like,
this is how we're going to play the media. This is how we're going to manipulate the media.
What? Wow. Oh, but imagine if you're recording it thinking you're going to make the doc he wasn't thinking he's going to put any of that.
Don't say that out loud.
It's like the book example. Yeah, it's all right if she writes a book because we'll go back and edit it. What happened is they recorded it. They probably thought they could edit it and frame it how they wanted to, and then fell apart. And I'm guessing whoever filmed it was like, well, he's never going to buy this footage from me because he's in jail now. And then 50's tapped in.
Oh, I have to see this.
But why would I ever, my point is, why would I ever be talking like that in front of anybody? Even if I felt that way, why would I be having that conversation to be recorded?
Well, that's one of the themes in the doc, is that at a certain point, and they trace it back to City College, because he skated on that, essentially, he believed he was untouchable.
Skated on Shine. Did they talk about that?
Yeah, we haven't even got, the first episode, it's still Uptown Records, right? And they have some really like crazy footage from inside the event at City College, which I've never seen before. And you can see him in the middle of like the chaos. It's pretty damning footage. Wow. And the case that's made is he beat that. He had no business beating that. The label at that time wanted him gone. Andre Harrell fought for him, kept him around. And then once he got past that, he's like,
I can do anything.
I can do anything. I just had an event and 9 people got killed, and I'm the king of New York.
Shit. I'll tell you one thing too, man. A lot of people saying like, they think 50's being vindictive.
The history between 50 Cent and Sean Combs was never loud warfare, but a slow-burning tension shaped by 2 very different paths out of New York. Diddy rose within the industry, mastering access, influence, and relationships until he became a gatekeeper. 50 Cent survived outside that structure, building power independently after being pushed aside early on. When his breakout arrived in the early 2000s, it came on his terms, driven by resilience and refusal to seek approval. Over time, he used sharp humor and pointed commentary to challenge industry figures, while Diddy largely stayed quiet. That contrast, open resistance versus behind-the-scenes control, fueled speculation. The facts, however, remain unchanged. Steve Harvey has not been investigated, charged, or publicly implicated in any wrongdoing. His career continues uninterrupted. His partnerships remain intact. Conditions that weaken rumors rather than validate them. Still, questions persist about his decision to remain silent instead of issuing a clear denial, because uncertainty is the environment where conspiracy narratives grow fastest.
With Diddy. And, he also speaks on how, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs for Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs for Puffy. You got Steve Harvey, this mother telling, well, Pac, according to everybody else, he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these are dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop? What's up, huh? Hey, whoa. Wait a minute, fellas here. Hold up. I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
For real, that's what we came in for. We came in and light it up and ride it up. We make music, man.
Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the mother that everybody say got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York? Then the second one.
I'm shutting down the idea of after parties. No after parties tonight, okay? None. Take it home after this. That's why I did it on a Monday. People got to go to work tomorrow. No after parties. That's where it gets slippery at them after parties. Okay? We're learning a lot about people, ain't we? We're learning a lot.
Honestly, it looked to me like you could hear some laughter. There was laughter. Yeah. It was funny, but it's like people were on camera and didn't want to seemed like they were laughing.
BET Awards positions themselves as the culture's biggest night, and once upon a time, Diddy was a big part of this culture. You know, his after parties, you know, were a part of the BET experience. So, you know, life comes at you fast, but, you know, Kevin had to address the elephant in the room.
Yo, you see how people act when you won't let them come on stage and get a fake apology so they can promote that little whack song?
As far as receipts, here is what Mace had to say about that.
Yo, I did this talking about he want receipts. Let's start with your mother. Your mother got the receipts. Everything is in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipt. You need more proof? Biggie ain't here, so Big can't give you no receipts. He dead. Craig Mack can't give you receipts. He dead. What are you talking about? Who else? Black Rob can't give you receipts. He dead. And everybody else you made sign paperwork so they can't talk about what I'm talking about. I'm the only one with the guts. You're not signing. Because I ain't need the money. All money ain't good money. Remember that. You know who to play with.
I want to know what Justin Bieber, I want to know. Justin Bieber, look at his life change. His man life, that man is terrified of Puffy. I seen the video. I'm in the streets, dog. Like, people know, fear, dog. Be like, what happened to your number? You like, I lost it. Fear, man. You gotta think of all the people, the white folks who've been at the parties. They scared. They don't roll in crowds with niggas and guns. When they get slapped in the mouth at a party for being too high, they shut up. You get what I'm saying? You gotta think of all these people who've been terrified for years. Everybody. But see, people understand. I can say this because I've been saying it while he was out. I'm one of the few people been calling this out for years. They ain't scared of who. I've been telling this nigga, where you at? I'm not scared of you. Not saying I'm bad or nothing, but I'm saying, like, I got the right to speak. I'm not trying to kick him while he down or something. I've been looking in his motherfucking camera for the longest, telling you I don't like you. I don't like nobody around you, and I don't like what you did to me. I woke up one day, I was 40 years old, didn't have a home, didn't have nothing.
As discussion intensified, other names, Meek Mill, Usher, Clive Davis, were pulled into online conversations. Not because of evidence, but because once momentum builds, speculation expands to fill every gap uncertainty leaves behind.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
Yeah. I didn't know who the Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when probably say, yo, man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, bleeding from the... And that's what was said. So I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard, and that's what happened. And that's just, that's something that you heard. You don't know if it's true, you just heard it. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that's crazy. And like I just said, that's just something that I heard. It's something that I didn't know. It's something that I ain't see. A lot of people want to, because Gene Deal has spoken on certain things that I've heard, I have spoken on it. But then they were just trying to say, I know. No, I'm not scared to say what I heard. And if there's any truth to it, then it's truth to it. Let them find it. Things that I saw or things that I've witnessed and been a part of, I've said it. I'm not afraid to say what I saw or what I didn't see. A lot of people want to make up. I don't make up things. When I say Puff go in the room with two girls, you understand, and another guy and a rapper, and then all of a sudden they cousin try to go in the room, I throw them up against the piano, they run out the room with grabbing towels, and they still had two girls in the room. But people want to make up a lot of bull.
and say what they want to say and flip it the way they want to.
A lot of people are curious about the status of P. Diddy.
Status of what?
P. Diddy. Diddy.
Like puppy. The status of puppy.
What do you make of that situation? Right. No comment from Clive Davis on P. Diddy. Mr. Davis, you're a major influence on the career of P. Diddy. Have you spoken to him since the federal raid?
Yes.
Have you spoken to Sean Combs? Any comment, Mr. Davis? Any comments about Diddy? He credits you as one of his mentors.
Each name carried its own history and theory. Some were framed as victims, others as observers, and a few as untouchable power brokers, figures whose inclusion could trigger lawsuits or stall releases. Steve Harvey was never officially listed among them. Yet his name hovered at the edge of the conversation as audiences noticed a recurring theme: exposure in Hollywood is negotiated. Some stories are told fully, others are edited carefully. And when information feels filtered, silence starts to look suspicious by default. Harvey's lack of fallout, paired with his refusal to address rumors, has fueled beliefs that certain figures are shielded not necessarily by innocence, but by the damage their exposure could cause. When Cat Williams spoke in early 2024 about industry deception, many dismissed it as exaggeration. Now, those clips are being replayed less as comedy and more as caution. He never named Harvey, but his critique of moral branding and private compromise unsettled audiences precisely because it challenged the images they trust most.
Clearly had some issues with Pac, and Pac died, and all of a sudden you chilling with Puffy. Back then it just, okay, now you can say what you want. You go all grandfathers, I guess. You know what I mean? That's different now. But back then I think it was weird. It was tasteless. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like you really had that much love for Pac. You could have just, you know what I mean? Unless he pressured them or like questioned Puffy, like, yo, what's up with this? What's up with that? Then you could say, you know what I mean? No problem. Like somebody said, okay, I believe somebody mentioned that they seen a video with me and the dude Prodigy or one of the dudes from ID, as if I was with. They don't know the backdrop of that. I went to his hotel room ready to fight. Like, bro, I'll fight everybody in that room one-on-one. Even if I lose, it doesn't matter. The Outlaws was with me. My homie Tiny, the Mexican homie, was with me. I didn't go there and say, let me get in a video with these guys. I went there knocking on their door, doom, doom, doom. Tell them dudes to come out. What's up with y'all? What's up with you and Pac? You got a problem with Pac? Because we could just fight like man to man, face to face, and then shake hands. That was my approach with them. But when they told me they didn't have no problem, I don't mind being with you. You know what I mean? I don't mind shaking your hand because they told me they had love for Pac. So that's different. You know what I mean? If he come out and say, well, I already, I questioned Puffy about it. I believe that he didn't, he loved Pac. That's my opinion. I can move the way I want to move. So when people try to, I noticed somebody, I think on your page do that. Well, Napoleon was in the video with Mobb Deep. They don't know how I got in that video with Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? I pulled up on him but I'm the type of person, I never been a bully type of person. You know what I mean? If I talk to a person like a man and they tell me face to face, look, I got love for Pac, I'm comfortable to know if I can look in their eyes, if I believe what they said, I have the right to say, okay, no problem, I believe you. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what Snoop went through. I don't know. But let the people know, because it was too early back then. Pac just had died. You know what I mean? Like, he had the right to say, the reason why I'm rolling with Puffy, I questioned him about my homie. He gave me this answer. So then he did what he had to do. But it just, you know what I mean? I never really agree with that, to be honest. The same way I couldn't be on the stage with him. When they wanted to do that tribute, I just couldn't do it. Like, I really felt in my heart, like, man, I can't believe this about that.
To be clear, as of today, there are no charges, lawsuits, investigations, or verified evidence tying Steve Harvey to any wrongdoing. What remains is silence, erased public praise, and a warning that stays deliberately vague. 50 Cent continues to imply without naming. The internet continues filling in the blanks. And Steve Harvey continues to say nothing at all. In an industry where clarity often arrives years later, that quiet leaves audiences debating whether there is truly nothing to address or whether speaking would open doors better left closed.